Welcome back for our third devlog. With so much of our early focus being on the technical aspects and developing our rendering pipeline, we wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about our developing art style and the inspirations behind it, and also about our general design process as we work towards our vertical slice.
To start off, let's talk about where we are drawing inspiration from. We must give our dues to the original Infinity Engine games, like Baldur's Gate, Planescape Torment, and Icewind Dale, who paved the way for pre-rendered backgrounds. Disco Elysium and Pillars of Eternity have brought that into the modern age and emphasized the painterly style within their backgrounds, creating beautiful, complex, and unique compositions. We knew from the start that we wanted to take this style and make it our own. Most of our visual inspiration is coming from outside of games. Traditional painters and sculptors have been informing a lot of our style guides, in particular the textures of the sculptors J.B. Blunk, Rodin, and Noguchi. The color palettes of Leonora Carrington and the surrealist nature of Di Chirico have been some of our biggest inspirations. We want to take these artistic methods and mix them with the lo-fi texture of the Infinity Engine games, turning Haven into a world sculpted and built from clay, one of the main resources in the town and a central part of our story. Our goal is to have a stylized game that feels grounded in the gritty and emotional narrative that Shades of Haven is becoming. Haven will be set in a small mountaintop village, and so we have looked at different towns and cultures around the world to help us inform the layout and cluster of Haven. Towns and places such as Italy, Spain, Colombia, Mexico, and the Greek islands have really informed how we have begun to shape Haven, and in particular the colors, mixture of materials, and excellent textures of Central and South American architecture have really inspired the architecture within the game. This has also helped us to develop our first set of shaders that is serving as our base materials throughout the game. We have been creating internal style guides for architecture, characters, and organic features, as well as developing a series of shaders that can be applied and adjusted for any material in the game. These simple guides act as a quick reference and have allowed us to dial in our rendering and post-processing pipelines. Right now, our pipeline is a base blockout, shader application and adjustment, and then a layer of heavy sculpting to emphasize the wonkiness and handmade feel of clay. After we render out our various render passes, we bring the base render into Photoshop and do a paint over, adding grime, highlights, emphasizing shadows, and giving the piece a little more life before it is brought into Unity. An important aspect of our project is that we are a small team, with just an engineer and a designer, making something that we are excited about as often as we can. One of the best parts of that process is the quick collaboration and messy work that occurs between making something finalized. It's easy to get weighed down in the processes of creating, where your sketches don't feel good enough or your idea doesn't feel polished enough, but one of the biggest things that we have learned is that passing back and forth that messy sketch or post-it note idea is often enough to get the ball rolling and to get the work started. So much of what we have made and shared back and forth has been these messy, fun, and silly sketches over the top of a render or a fast model, and that is what is allowing us to drive the story forwards without getting overwhelmed with the amount of work to do. Thanks so much for tuning in, and if any of this continues to interest you, a like and a sub is a huge deal in the early stages of this project, and our Discord is always open for anything you might be curious about. Thank you.